Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Zach Donegan proudly brings to you the first ever edition of hashtag Ask Donegan, where I answer your questions from the Twitter and I provide the greatest answers in the history of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I only have about 7 or 8 questions tonight. So without further ado, let's get it on. First question comes to me from @WrestleRant. He wants to know 3 surprise entrants I'd be happy to see in the Royal Rumble this year. Well, the first man I'd like to see in the Royal Rumble is none other than the bad guy, Razor Ramon Scott Hall. I think Scott's got one last run in him. I would really enjoy if that man made a return. The second guy I'd like to see, a man everybody likes to see in the Rumble, been talking about returning for a while, but hasn't yet. Said he'll do it if the time and the price is right. No, not Bob Barker. I'm talking, and not Drew Carey either, but that would be good. I'm talking the man, the myth, the legend, the only undefeated man in the history of this sport, Goldberg. He would be a great man to see back in the Royal Rumble and to see back in the WWE period. The third man I would like to see in the Royal Rumble match making a surprise return, if he's not back by then I'd love to see Daniel Bryan come back and pull a Batista, pull a John Cena, pull an Edge, come back, win the Rumble, go on to headline WrestleMania. Yes. Second question comes to me from @RebornAgain. @RebornAgain wants to know, where do I see Cesaro going, and do I ever see him getting a big push? Where I see Cesaro going, not face of the company, sorry. I see the guy could be a world champion, maybe a transitional champion here and there. Maybe like a Christian, a Kane, some along those lines, Chris Jericho. But never a face of the company world champion, never a Batista, Triple H, or Goldberg type guy. But I do see him being champion one day, but I don't see him getting a huge push, no. Next question comes to us from the only Sherrod. Sherrod wants to know who has been the best world and best WWE champion to represent the Blue Brand SmackDown. Well, the best world heavyweight champion to represent SmackDown, obviously the animal Dave Batista. Batista came over to SmackDown in 2005, part of the draft, held the title for like 285 days, only to have it be vacated due to injury. The guy would have held it for a year if he had the opportunity, plus. And so I see Dave Batista as the greatest world heavyweight champion in SmackDown history. Shout out to The Undertaker, though, because he's the phenom, he's the dead man, he is SmackDown. Greatest WWE champion to represent SmackDown. It's a toss-up. I wanted to go with John Bradshaw Layfield at first, only because he's the longest reigning champion in SmackDown history. But I ended up going with the Beast Incarnate, the next big thing, Brock Lesnar. Only because Brock, he brought the championship over to SmackDown in 2002. Had great matches with the likes of John Cena, The Big Show, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, all those and more in 2002, 2003, 2004 with Eddie Guerrero. the guy had great matches, and he really represented and was the face of SmackDown. And when you think SmackDown back then, besides the SmackDown 6, the only other man you think of is Brock Lesnar. Next question comes to us from Aussie62101. Aussie wants to know my favorite WrestleMania of all time. It's either a toss-up between WrestleMania 19 and WrestleMania 20. WrestleMania 19, because of Shawn HBK being the match of the night there. You also had Booker T and Triple H wasn't a bad match. Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan in the street fight was sleeper match of the night. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar was voted match of the year, I believe, that year. The great 3-team tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Very underrated match between Eddie and Chavo versus the world's greatest tag team, Team Angle at the time, as they were being known as, and Chris Benoit and Rhino. WrestleMania 20 is my other favorite because it's the night Benoit won the world title. His 18-year odyssey came to closure, fulfillment, whatever you want to say there. That was an amazing match. Those three went on and put out an amazing match. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. Also, Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle was phenomenal. Those two went on and put on a clinic. And Chris Jericho and Christian had what could have been match of the night there. So it's one of those two manias. Next question comes from Trask Van City. Trask wants to know my favorite hardcore 24/7 moment. Considering I wasn't a WWE fan at the time the Hardcore Championship was around, I only know from what I've watched on DVDs and the pay-per-views I've been watching on the WWE Network. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably go with the Crash Holly defending his title inside the Dave & Buster's or whatever it was, Bonkers. Whatever that area, Chuck E. Cheese, whatever it was. But yeah, that had some great classic moments, and that's probably my favorite. At Komata Reggiano wants to know best favorite view of each era in WWE. Starting with the Hogan era, the best pay-per-view, WrestleMania 3, just for the amazing match between Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the Intercontinental Championship. Those two men were amazing in the ring, and they went on and put on one of my favorite matches of all time. The New Generation era has to be WrestleMania 10. Can't think of what the main event was off the top of my head, but Owen and Brett put on a great match, and their follow-up at SummerSlam was even better in the steel cage. And the ladder match between Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship was fucking phenomenal, and I just love that match. From the Attitude Era, I'll have to go with WrestleMania 17. Hogan and Austin. Sure, that'd be a great match, honestly. Austin and The Rock, too. Great match. Just a great pay-per-view in general. Great card from top to bottom. From the Ruthless Aggression era, it's either 19 or 20. I've already really stated my reasons for those. From this era, it has to be Money in the Bank 2011, just for Punk and Cena alone. That match was phenomenal. Reminds me every time why I'm a WWE fan. Thank you, Summer of Punk. The final question comes to me from @PunkinPage. @PunkinPage wants to know if I remember the first match I ever watched. Yes, I do. It was Goldberg versus Hulk Hogan at the Georgia Dome from WCW Nitro. First match I ever remember for the World Heavyweight Championship, where Goldberg went on to win. Become the first undefeated man in the history of the sport to be World Heavyweight Champion. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you very much. And until next time, I'm out of here, guys. You'll get more videos from me every once in a while. Whether it be a review of something or just my thoughts on anything. Alright guys, until next time, see you later.